Charles, thank you, bro. Thanks for being here.
No, you're welcome. Glad to be here.
So we were talking. We have some mutual friends. I kind of know your story, and we'll get into that. What's your like? What are you working on right now? What's your mission? Because I know your story. Your story is one of my favorite stories in all of Hawaii.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I've talked on this podcast, and I'll say it again. Like I went to Campbell, with our mutual friends, and it was rough back then. And I was gonna get kicked out, but I wasn't doing anything. I was just disruptive. I was just like the kid who would never be an employee. Disruptive, and then I, doing okay now. Mm-hmm. And so your story is like the epitome of that. So I love it. But like, what are you working on now? Like changing the standards on the West Side, elevating retail. Like what's kind of your mission?
Well, I mean, my mission, my love is Waianae.
Yeah,
for sure. When I realized at one point in my life when I realized I wanted to make a difference, it was not about me anymore. Yeah, it's about what impact I'm going to make. I knew it was going to be Waianae. I was going to focus all my energy in one place. I had ideas. I'm going to change the world. I'm going to do this and there. But I realized, Waianae is that place that a lot of people talk about that needs change. Yeah. But very few people actually, willing to actually go make it happen. And that's what I feel. I'm just going to be one of those guys that's going to go back there and make it happen. In the beginning, it wasn't clear about what that would look like.
Right.
Just wanted to make an impact. But more so now, just kind of focusing on the areas that I have the most, skill sets in, which is business and real estate, things of that nature. So my business-wise, what I try to do more from a residential standpoint, I focus on low-income housing. That's kind of my thing. That's my niche. Only because I grew up poor. I grew up in low-income housing.
Is it because you want to help those people have a better standard? Like, why low-income housing? Because most people would say, that's the last place I want to invest. Yeah. Like, how come?
For one, it feels good.
Yeah.
Right? But just because it feels good, that doesn't mean it you can make money off of it, right?
Right, yeah.
But for one, it does feel good. It does feel good. I've helped families, who need a place or coming off the beach or, desperate. Just not enough of a supply of low-income housing out there, even in Waianae.
Right.
Even for Waianae standards, prices are going up, a lot.
Yeah.
So just being able to focus on that, it not only does it feel good, but it created a problem, a huge problem that a lot of people, especially real estate guys, have to face. It's like how do you provide low income housing when prices of everything is going up?
Yeah.
And just to be honest, a lot of people are intimidated when it comes to dealing with that demographic of families out there.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I grew up with that.
Yeah.
So it's normal. I don't see the same risks that everybody else see because I just see it's my people. It's what I grew up around. So it doesn't intimidate me.
Okay.
Probably I realize because I remember when I first started, I go, oh, this is easy. And I'll tell people it is easy, and people start trying to invest out there. You're like, oh, this is tough. They get scared. I got this guy selling drugs out of my unit. I don't know what to do, right? Yeah. Whereas for me, it's like, hey, bro, you cannot do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not scary for me to deal with that.
I worked with one of the investors I worked with. He was telling me a story about, I think it was him or one of the agents, but he's telling me a story about how they acquired a house, but the guys wouldn't get out. They wouldn't leave. So, and it was during COVID, so there was no eviction. Yeah. So they hired two big Samoan guys to go live in the house too. Mm. They said, well, you cannot get out, but it's our house, so my friend's going to live there. And the guys would sit next to him. They took all the doors off the bedrooms, and eventually they decided to leave. Yeah. So different tactics.
It's different. You just got to be willing to. I've never done that. But usually you kind of know somebody who knows somebody and say, hey, can you talk to your cousin?
Yeah.
Tell them you cannot. And be like, oh, okay. And they usually talk to them. And fortunately for me, I think I've developed somewhat of a reputation out there. I think I'm pretty well known. That's right. Not only for the good that I've done, but unfortunately some of the bad things I've done in my past too. Sure. So I think some of the younger kids that kind of coming up in that scene, which I'm trying to steer out of that.
Right.
I think there's some level of respect there.
You're the perfect person to steer them, though.
Yeah.
Like the best, right? Yeah. So yeah, low-income housing. What else is the mission over there?
I still do my commercial real estate. What I want to do is bring, like higher quality types of service and foods, out to the West Side. I brought the first gourmet bakery came out to Waianae.
Okay.
Is
that by Carlo Bombs?
It was by Carlo Bombs, but before Carlo Bombs.
Okay.
Now Carlo Bombs is a dessert place, right?
Oh, it's not Carlo
It
Bombs.
wasn't Carlo Bombs. It was
okay.
called Sugar Hut.
Oh, okay.
Sugar Hut, where they had like macaroons and
Yeah.
things you don't normally think you would see in Waianae.
Right.
You just see it in like Kailua or
Yeah.
Kakako, right?
Yeah.
I'm wanting to bring that feel, like, there's people in Waianae that want this, that want this type of experience of dining, of some shopping, and things like that. So I brought those type of businesses, and I still continue to try to bring those type of businesses out to the West Side.
Yeah. This is a selfish question, but we sell real estate.
Yeah.
We do a good job on YouTube. Our Waianae videos are number one, actually.
Oh, wow.
And I was kind of nervous to make it because I was like, what guys on the West Side gonna say? Because I keep it real, We show the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And I meet people from the West Side, and they like shake my hand, like, bro, you did a good job. I'm like,
nice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think you can never go wrong being honest. You know what I mean? As long as you're being real.
Yeah, we're not being disrespectful, but the question I was gonna ask you is, how do you beautify, gentrify, or we don't need to gentrify, but like elevate the area, but not lose it? Because that's everyone's fear, right? Is, well, you can make them nice, then Hawaiians not gonna be able to afford.
Right.
How do we do both? I'm still not, fully financially free, and at the passive income goals I want to be at and stuff.
Right.
But as I shift towards that, I want to, have a I don't know, a rich dad university class on the West Side or in Eva Beach where I'm from or whatever, and shift that mindset. So how do you do both? How do you elevate it but not lose it?
I think, okay, just being honest, right?
Yeah.
This is going to be completely transparent, completely honest, and share certain opinions that I think sometimes maybe the public, or especially the West Side people, some people might get offended.
Okay.
But being honest, like I focus on low income housing, and I'm one to provide that. It's very needed. Yeah. But I think what is forgotten often is I was involved in this this group discussion, and they brought me in to talk about how do we get more Hawaiians to get involved in businesses, start up more businesses as much. And a lot of the talk was the barriers that was involved in getting that, right? Yeah. Making that happen. My position is, I think our culture, what we're used to, what we grew up in, is not conducive with the capitalistic mentality.
Yes.
Right?
Sis, preach.
It's like, aloha, we love, hey, no, what you need, I got you.
No
right?
grumble, be humble.
Yeah.
These mantras we have. Hey,
exactly.
Show respect.
Show respect, yes.
But you don't have to not be respectful and not be humble to also be grateful for what you have, but still want to gain more, right?
Absolutely.
They're not mutually exclusive.
They're not, exactly. But I think what happens is especially sometimes, unfortunately, I can experience that.
Yeah.
When you reach a certain level of success, then kind of your own people start turning on you a little bit. Yeah. Because it's like, oh, how much more you need, or why are you doing this? Or, you know what I mean? And it's that, and it's the mentality that sometimes you see that it saddens me. Yeah. Because not that I deserve or need anybody's love or respect. It's that what I see is that same mentality is what holds our people back.
You want them to come with you, right?
To go, hey, you know what? Let's go. I can do that. Yeah. Like, how do I play the game? Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that's what it is. It's how do we play this game that's already here? Yeah. Right. It's here. It's not going to go anywhere. Yeah.
And victim mentality has never served anyone in the history of mentalities. No. Right.
You can either sit around and be upset and complain and talk about the barriers that our people face, or we can go, okay, show me how to play this game. Right, how do I understand how this game is played, so I can succeed and provide for myself and my family. And to me, the number one thing, start to be able to provide for yourself and your family to a level that you start having overflow, that you can actually help other people.
Yes. Abundance, yeah.
And to me, that it'd be more beneficial and more fulfilling of a life for people to have, as opposed to just constantly only worrying about yourself.
The settling and the reducing of your efforts and your mindset, or not finding your obsession or whatever is the reason for the misery a lot of the time. Yeah. That's the reason you got to drink 12 Heinekens after work or whatever, right? Because you're not finding that fulfillment. And, Maybe you're not an entrepreneur. Maybe you're an employee, but you want to be an intrapreneur somewhere or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
As I say, it not even have to be. You got to be a business owner. You got to be super successful. You know, it's not for everybody. It's not what everybody wants.
Right.
But I do feel that if people were more in touch with what they want, like this is what I want, and it's okay to want that.
And know that you can.
Yeah, know that you can.
You might have to work hard.
Yeah.
You have to obsess and grind.
Exactly.
But you can, though.
Exactly. You know, I have family. My nephew like lives a simple life.
Yeah.
You know, but he just wants a house. He wants a good, retirement, and he works day in, day out to do that. Never made a ton of money.
Yeah.
But he's just consistent, right? He just doesn't take his eye off. He never complained. He never go hang out and go doing other things. He never got distracted. You know, he never did any. Well, what I say is dumb things. All you got to do is don't do anything dumb.
Yeah.
Prevent the dumb stuff. You can at least work on having a good life.
Right.
But if you're doing dumb stuff, man, that just makes it so much harder. You know?
Understand money, right? So, like this guy, he's like, hey, what do I read? I said, if you haven't read Rich Dad in a long time, go read it. And then he said, okay, I want to understand money. And I was like, you didn't even have any. What you gonna how are you gonna grow money? You don't have any. So then I said, read Cash Flow Quadrant. And for the people out there listening, Cash Flow Quadrant is this thing where there's 4 quadrants. There's employee, self-employed, business owner, investor. There's only 4 ways that currency flows or is earned. And so for your cousin, be an employee, but move it into the right quadrant, right? Move it over. You don't have to be Charles.
No.
But you maybe could be Charles and more, whatever,
He saves, he's consistent. He doesn't overspend.
Yeah.
He builds his pile and then he buys. I helped him buy his first property. And then turn around, rent it, then he buys it. So he's starting to invest his own properties. He's renovating
moving into the quadrant.
His 3rd property right now, right? But he goes to work. You just don't know. He doesn't have these huge ambitions to do anything, which is okay.
Right.
He has his dream. This is what he wants, and he's fulfilled.
Yeah.
And he's doing it, right? And he's not. You talk to him, he sees somebody who's doing it. He's like, wow, that's awesome, because he's doing it for himself.
Yeah.
Right? He can appreciate the people do it. So I think when you ask me the question, I think it's important. I think it's important, like that we have even platforms like this.
Yeah.
Where it gets out there, where people can see. I believe leadership. My definition of leadership is leadership of self.
Okay.
Right? People follow people who can lead themselves.
Yeah.
Right? We can lead them. When time you get up, I need to get up. When I need to go get this done, I get this done.
Right.
I need to be eating healthy, I eat healthy.
Yeah.
I need to everything they know they needs to be done. They can lead themselves to get it done.
Right.
And when people can lead themselves and that person can shine, people want to follow that person.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's why I say leadership is leadership of self. And I think when people who are leaders, when I say people are leaders who have the ability to lead themselves in a direction that's beneficial, that's for the greater good, and be that example for other people, I think that's when you can they can see that shift, that difference. Oh wow, this is a different way of doing things. This is a different way of living. Because for me, the reason why I got involved in the life I did was back when I grew up. There's no social media, there's no right, so it's just word of mouth. And so growing up,
the voices around you are the loudest voices. You can't go to YouTube.
No,
right?
You can't go to YouTube. Yeah. You don't know anything else. And so both my parents never went to school. So I grew up in low-income housing, grew up in a family without education.
Yeah.
And I always heard about this guy named Charlie Stevens. Oh, who's Charlie Stevens, right?
Okay.
You just hear powerful, money, involving crime, whatever. And so...
Okay. I never heard of him, but...
He was actually considered the last organized crime figurehead in Hawaii. Okay. Crime figurehead, like organized crime. The guy's got, he got some...
He was the Don.
Yeah. He's surrounded by killers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I say killers, I mean hardcore killers. Yeah. Like chop you up, bury you, like...
Pig farm, huh?
Yeah, like that. And so I remember going to school. I was in high school. I must have been 9th grade. Walking to school, and I passed this car burning. And I'm like, oh, this car is burning. What's weird? Go home that night, guys handcuffed to the steering wheel, bullet shot to the head. And
you saw that?
I didn't see that guy, but I saw the car burning.
Oh.
So.
I see. Yeah.
So this is the environment I grew up in. Oh, so and so got shot. So and so. Oh wow, this is what power looks like. This is what success looks like.
And you're an ambitious guy.
Yeah.
And that ambition and the growth principles that are in you could get expressed.
That's how I see
multiple
it.
ways,
Exactly,
right?
yeah. And I saw him. The first time I saw him, I was walking in 7-Eleven. I guess I must have been about 14, 15.
Yeah.
I see this guy walk out with a suit. He jump out of his Cadillac suit, rugged looking. You Google him? He looked gangster.
Yeah.
Charlie Stevens. You look at him.
Pictures of him online.
Oh yeah. You look at him. He just looked rugged. Like he
Yeah.
just looked like a killer. And you just get out and you go, man, this guy just looked gangster with a suit, a Cadillac, and you see this huge guy behind him, like his bodyguard. And he has this little girl, and he's all sweet, with this little girl. I don't know who it was. And I'm like, I was in awe. I was like,
It's like Denzel on American Gangster.
yeah.
Like,
To me, it was like meeting a celebrity.
yeah.
I was like, oh, this is Charlie Stevens, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that was my exposure, right?
Wow.
As a young kid who's ambitious,
Yeah.
that's the first thing I saw what success looked like.
Yeah. And so there was a light that's shining. You're in darkness, obviously, and the car's burning.
Yeah.
A light shines, so you walk towards that light,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
That's all I knew.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I wanted success, but I didn't have access to what success could look like.
Wow.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Having platforms, like this.
Have
that's
other
out
lights
there.
that shine, right?
Yeah.
They can go towards those lights. And to your point of like, and I share this so much, like aloha. Aloha encompasses all these things, like the no grumble, be humble, respect, take care of your kupuna. All this stuff is like encompassed by the word aloha. That doesn't mean that ambition and aloha have to be mutually exclusive. You could maintain both, but I understand it's a delicate thing to think about. But I think the more we talk about it, the better chance we have. The more we put it out there and disseminate it.
I think so.
Ambition plus aloha, right? Aloha and ambition. And Bernice Pauahi Bishop, I mean this respectfully to all the Hawaiians out there, but Bernice Pauahi Bishop, I don't think she traveled and was so intelligent and literate and sought to elevate the community so that we could not participate in the Western economy that she knew was coming or was here, right?
Yeah.
She saw the vision, right? It was like, I'm gonna found this school so we can compete, and
Exactly. And
let's keep doing that.
Well, one great things I've heard coming out of Kamehameha is my oldest son went to Kamehameha.
Yeah.
And he said, I remember him telling me one day we're having dinner, and he goes, I said, do you want, because I have a granddaughter.
Yeah.
He goes, do you want her to go to Kamehameha? He goes, I'll never want her to go to Kamehameha. I was like, shocked, right?
Yeah.
Usually, Kamehameha, you go Kamehameha.
I can see that because I'm not a big. They try to kick me out of school. Right? I'm mad at my teachers, but okay.
Yeah, he goes, no, I'll never want to go. And I go, what? Why? And he says he remembers one time he was in school, and one of his teachers said, he said that he went to Kamehameha.
Yeah.
And his kids don't go to Kamehameha. And they were shocked too. He's like, why? He said, you having the opportunity to come to Kamehameha and have this type of education, either for free or very inexpensively, is a benefit to you. And that you should take that benefit and have run with it and created such a life that you don't have to have your kids go through that too. Mm-hmm. You provide a life that you don't have to send your kids to Kamehameha, and that those kids that need that seat,
let the kids in the back of the line come up, right?
Come up.
So what? He sent his kids to public school, Puno?
He sent them to private school.
That's
yeah.
That's pretty.
So
powerful.
the goal is you go to Kamehameha,
so
create a life that you can send your kid to a private school that you pay for.
Yeah.
That you can afford it now. Right?
Yeah.
That you can pay for, because Kamehameha gave you that education, they gave you that foundation.
Yeah.
And then now those kids that don't have that opportunity, that their parents didn't go to Kamehameha, or their parents didn't have that education to play this game, right?
Yeah.
That they can come in and learn.
Chicken skins from now on. That's amazing. Who is this person?
I don't know who the teacher was, but my son told me that.
Your son told you
My
that?
son told me that.
Wow.
I would never, because I was shocked. I was like, I thought you would want, my granddaughter to go to Kamehameha. He goes, no.
There's probably some cultural and alumni things that they miss out on. So even more so, he's like, yeah, I know there's a culture here that they miss out on, but we want to leave room for other people. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So I think, like you said, I don't know the intentions of, the Bishop Estate, or what her intentions was. But like you said, I do believe at some level, she brought in the focus of education in order to have the Hawaiian people to be able to go, hey, look, this is where we're going.
Yeah.
Right?
It's here.
It's here. How do we elevate ourselves?
Let's compete. Yeah.
Let's compete.
Yeah, because we are special.
Exactly.
Let's compete. That's powerful, bro. Well, okay. So let's get into your story. I love it. I don't know the full story. You started to tell me outside. You came up on the west side, you know. Found, what is this guy's name? Who you saw in 7-Eleven? The
Charlie Stevens.
You see Charlie Stevens. You walk towards that light. One thing leads to another, and you're an entrepreneur of several sorts. You record label, a nightclub in Kalihi, selling meth.
Yeah.
Your ambition was playing out through the things you knew.
Yeah.
And you caught a case.
Yeah.
How was it coming up in Waianae and yeah, like tell me about that. Because I grew up in Ever Beach.
Yeah.
Had that kind, you know. And I wasn't. You know, I was born in Florida. I moved to Hawaii. I went to Irima, went to Campbell, and had stuff like that. Like they would shut down Campbell for a week to let the tensions cool because I had big riots.
Yeah.
I remember one time, when I worked at McDonald's, had these guys from Waianae. I remember his name was Ben. He was like a part black Hawaiian guy or something. He boxed at Waianae Boxing, and he was telling me, we went down to Ever Beach to scrap. And then this guy just pulled out a gun. Pop, 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 pop. He's like, so we all jumped in the truck and left. And I was around it, but I'm not that guy. I don't even pretend like I'm that hard. You know? But for you growing up in an era and in an environment like that, like how was it? Could you have done something else, or just for people who never even experienced something like that? How was that?
You know, for me, I grew up in Papakolea. So
Papakolea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hew-Len. So my family's kind of known up there in Papakolea. And I have a big family. So I went to Lincoln Elementary. So when I went to school, everybody knew, oh, you're a Hew-Len. It's like you felt welcome. You're Hew-Len. You know, Hawaiian Homestead, right?
Yeah.
Hew-Len. But what was a little different about me was my dad had met my mom after his first wife had died.
Okay.
And he was in his 50s. So when he met my mom, he was shipped to Vietnam. So I'm the only Vietnamese Hew-Len.
Oh, okay.
Right. Everyone is more local, or whatever you may say. Right. Different mixes like everything else, but I'm the only one that looked Asian. Okay. And looked Vietnamese during a time where the Vietnam War was just ending. Yeah. So being in Papakolea I didn't notice a difference. Yeah. I didn't think I was different. When I went to Waianae, because my sister went to Waianae, my dad said, hey, let's go to Waianae. We went down there. I was like 6, 7. Oh, yeah, I could tell there was a difference. Things were different. Things were different because I was, Vietnamese. Things were different because I was Asian. Things were different because I was more quiet.
Oh, okay.
How
old were you when you went to Waianae?
I was like 6.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was more quiet kid, very shy.
Yeah.
And so you quiet, shy, and you look different, you're just a target.
Yeah.
And the guys that their kids can just be rough. Yeah. Whether it's, they want the ball and you shouldn't have done this and you did that. So at some point I was getting picked on. Yeah. Getting beat up, get my lunch money taken away, things like that.
Search, take all.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was happening for me for like the first several years in Waianae. Wow. And so as a kid getting, these violent attacks or, getting violent treatment, it's like, okay, I got to take care of myself, right? So now you start focusing on fighting. Yeah. Right? So I signed up I seen this lady in a karate outfit, said, oh, I'm going to sign up. Took the thing to my dad, I want to sign up. So he signed me up. So I took karate for 11 years, became a 2nd-degree black belt.
Okay.
But what happens is now, I learned how to fight from a place of pain and fear. Okay. And so when you come from a place of pain and fear, you can kind of overdo it. Right? So it's like, well, you're going to treat me like this. Okay, well, and so what came out was this guy with a lot of anger. Yeah. I was still calm. I was one of those like nice guys that once it flips. Yeah. Yeah, it was bad. Yeah.
Hey, aloha everyone. This is Derek Okahashi, host of Podcast Hawaii. Thank you for listening. I hope you're enjoying the show. I have 2 things to ask. Whether you're listening to this on a streaming platform or on YouTube, please go comment and follow and do all the things to gas us up and keep us going. And in that comment, let me know who you'd like for me to have a conversation with next. Is there an interesting university professor, someone who owns a business, a controversial person, a politician? Whoever you want to see on this show, please let me know in the comment section of whatever platform you're on. Also, I am a real estate agent and a real estate team leader. My small team, Core Team Hawaii, is one of the top real estate teams in all of Hawaii. So if you have anything in real estate if you have any need at all in real estate, please think of Core Team Hawaii first. Go to coreteamhawaii.com. The link will be in the description of all of these shows moving forward. Book a call with me. Let's get you taken care of in real estate. Back to the show.
And so, it was tough. So still getting into a lot of fights. I can't imagine getting to Waianae without getting into fights. So we just got into a fight.
Just a part of it.
Just was a part of it. It's one of the things you get involved with. A lot of violence. But I knew deep down I wanted to do something good. Because I actually grew up, I had a great childhood though. My parents did amazing in trying to provide me the best they could in an environment like that.
Okay.
So they put me in Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
I became an Eagle Scout.
Okay.
Yeah. Grew up Mormon. My family strong Mormon. So heavy, go to every Sunday. I was always in a leadership position in every, like, when you go to different church, levels.
Okay.
I was always in the leadership position over there. So, I get in karate, 2nd degree black belt. I played baseball. We played on a championship team, played soccer, right? So it was filled with activities. But I think the common thing amongst what was happening for me was this desire to prove myself.
Okay.
That
you think that happened? You think that was nature? Like just genetically you need to prove yourself, or it was nurture? All the things that was happening, you're like, I gotta prove myself.
What was mostly was because of my mom. My mom, Vietnamese, hardcore Vietnamese, man. They can be rough, vicious. Yeah. And so my mom had this mentality: if you disrespect me or you do anything dishonorable, I'd rather have you dead.
Yeah. Wow.
Better off I just kill you.
She from Vietnam.
Straight from Vietnam.
Yeah.
And so beatings is just normal, right?
Yeah.
Beatings. So she put me in a tub just to beat me so that I don't bleed on the carpet.
Wow.
Like that, right? She tried to poison me once, tried to stab me, like really bad. Yeah.
Wow.
And so as a kid, especially, it's not unique, especially back then. A lot of kids got beat up. But I think what happens over time, especially young men, is when you constantly get in this treatment, it doesn't have to be physical abuse, right? It can be verbal. It does something inside to you. Like, man, something's wrong with me.
Yeah.
Man, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I being treated like this? Why am I being, And then all of a sudden it's like, wow, I got something to prove.
Mm-hmm. But can that be good?
Am I enough? I think it's good and bad. I think it's necessary.
You need that fuel for the fire, right? Or no?
I think it's necessary, but I think every strength has an opposing weakness.
Yeah.
Every strength. Anything you do that's really good, like, those kids that are really, really smart in books, sometimes can be like socially, not a little bit awkward maybe, right? Yeah. So everything has it, no matter what we choose.
Right.
Because I had such a strong desire to prove that I was enough to my mom, right?
Yeah.
Strong desire to prove, hey, I want to be loved.
Yeah.
Anything I did, I just wanted to succeed. So hopefully if I succeed, then I'm enough.
Right.
And I think, can it be good? Yes. As a child, it helped me achieve high levels, everything I did.
Because I think I had some of that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't,
I think most men go through that.
Yeah.
I think most men go through that. That's why the biggest fear, I think, of most men is not being enough.
You know what? It's cool to be vulnerable with you, because going to Campbell and wanting to, I've always wanted to prove I'm ambitious. Look, we got this office and we do millions and millions in real estate. But going to Campbell, I just wasn't gonna rise up to those. Like had a guy used to sell drugs, and he would distribute it through the adults that worked at the school. Some of these people are still out there, so I don't want to out anyone. But he was a senior who was probably like 20 years old, 19 or 20-year-old senior, and his distribution lines involved adults that worked at the school, and we knew it, and I wasn't gonna rise to ranks in that kind of situation. I'm not that guy. I'm a little bit more lower middle class. My family was, I wasn't about that, but I would sometimes get guys wanted to scrap with me, and I was kind of a little bit scared too, and so then after high school I learned to box. So then now I go out clubbing, and I'm like, cuz who I go, and then I do jiu-jitsu, and that calmed me, because I do jiu-jitsu and I got older, and I was like, I got nothing else to prove. But I think in business, some of that trauma that you're referring to can help me in business, because like I want to do good. And eventually it shifted over to I want to take care of my dad, because he's 79, and I want to, those are the reasons now. But to get me going, I think probably came from unhealthy places, or
childhood trauma.
You call it unhealthy or healthy, but just it came from those kind of places is what the ambition came from.
Yeah, definitely. I think if my mom wasn't wasn't the woman she was, I wouldn't be who I am today.
Yeah.
So I don't wish that on anybody, but at the same time, there's a lot of good that came out of it for sure.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of, now looking back, I see how a lot of the direction my life took that was in the more painful directions of my life was a result of that. Result of the need to prove something, this need to feel enough, right?
Yeah.
Because now I'm this kid who did everything right. I was considered probably like the perfect kid. Every parent like, oh, can be like Charles.
Yeah.
You know, Eagle Scout, second degree black belt. You know, go to church. You know, just all of a sudden, how's a guy like that turn out to be a full blown drug dealer?
Well, let's transition to that. So when did you first get recruited to be, you know, a guy in the lower ranks of the distribution line, or like how did that happen?
So I joined the Marines. So,
okay.
Yeah. So I'm a former Marine. And
so in high school you weren't, you know,
no,
in that world.
I was not. Being involved in crime wasn't a part of my
Oh,
process
I just
at the time.
assume because I went to Campbell, right?
Yeah.
I seen these things.
Yeah.
I assume high school you were already in that world.
I seen it, but because I had such a structured life that was positive and good, right? It taught ethics and doing good. I mean, all these different
'Cause
things.
You're still in the church and
Yeah, I was in a church, right? So
Okay.
it wasn't conducive to what I saw,
okay.
but it was in the back of my mind. That's the only example I saw of success. But I thought, I'm gonna live a life I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be a good boy, right?
Okay.
Join the Marines. I get out the Marines. I decide I knew I wanted to get in business, so I said I want to get in business school. But my father-in-law at the time, my ex-wife's dad, he had his own business. He'd come in, I'll teach you business, and so he taught me construction. I learned construction. That was my first trade.
Okay.
Worked from the bottom, kind of worked my way up, and then he had an issue with his business. Kind of had a tax issue that came, and when it came, it kind of slammed the brakes on that,
Okay.
and everything stopped. And I appreciated him so much for helping me, kind of mentoring me all those years that I stayed on for free
Yeah.
for like 6 months.
Wow.
I was like, hey, you know what? I'll help you out. And now I needed a way to make money. And so that's when it first started. And I was like, oh,
Bro,
maybe I can.
I'm still not getting it because to me it seems easy. This story could progress, and then I went out and hired guys, and I got side jobs, and I knew how to sell, so I built the construction business.
Yeah.
Where did it turn? Because you seem like when I moved back home, long story short, I would meet people, and I went to the Coast Guard, and then I got degrees. I became an X-ray tech. I felt all accomplished. I met with my one friend, and he was like, "Yeah." We were like best friends in my senior year. He's like, I started painting, and then I got this mindset. So then I made my own painting business, and now he's one of the more successful guys I know.
Yeah.
You might know him, but he owns multiple properties, etc. And that thing that you have, that he has, he was in construction, and he just let it run in that lane.
Mm-hmm.
He built a construction business. It seems easy. That could have been your story. Where did it turn?
Like I said, I think because I was helping him out full time,
Yeah.
I worked full time all day, like normal hours. So no need to pay me.
Yeah.
I didn't change my life, my work schedule with him. I needed a way to make money, and I was trying multiple things, and I kind of got desperate.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was making good money for me, so I had a certain lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right, I looked good. At the time, it was like, oh, Charles is doing good, man. He's like, I live a good life. I got nice cars. And I think I remember the time. It was the fear of me having to sell my car, and now looking poor.
What kind of car you had?
At the time, it was a Tahoe.
Tahoe,
Yeah, Chevy Tahoe.
22s.
No,
No,
they
you didn't
didn't
have
have 22s back then. Yeah, you had 22s. Just the fact that I had a Chevy Tahoe, when the Tahoes first came out.
Yeah.
It was like, I think the car was like $40,000, which is big money back then. Yeah, big money. As a 21-year-old, 22-year-old.
Yeah.
And so, having thinking I got to sell this, the fear of what are people going to think of me now.
Right.
I already created this life. I was doing well with him, and now it's going to look like I'm not doing well anymore.
Yeah.
And that fear was got me desperate. And I said,
Okay.
you know what? I've seen guys, make it. By this time, I've had certain friends make it or two. It wasn't just seeing Charlie. I know friends. Oh, this guy got. This guy got a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
This guy, you know what I mean? I had friends that was living the life.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm over here struggling.
Yeah.
You know, all right. And so, but I didn't know what I was doing. So I kind of needed help. So I think I bought my first small amount, had somebody help me out, kind of teach me, hey, this is what you got to do.
Was it going to be temporary? Was it going to be just to save the car?
Was me just to try to figure out how to close this gap for now. I didn't know, at that time, I didn't know how long this was going to last.
Yeah.
I figured I help him out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe things get back on track. Because I've been with him by this time like 6-7 years already.
Yeah.
I worked my way up and we're doing good. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I can get him through this and then it'll pass. But it doesn't. It kind of just drags on and on. 1, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months.
The money's good.
Oh man, it wasn't good at first.
No.
There's no such. People think when you get involved with drugs, you're automatically successful. No, it's just like a regular business. I say only maybe you're lucky if 5, maybe even 10% succeed.
Oh.
Most drug dealers fail.
Oh wow.
Yeah, vast majority, and most people cannot. They just can't do it. They don't have the skills. It takes a certain skill set.
It seems like, in my mind too, it seems like the barrier to entry is that it's illegal, and most guys not going to do them. So if you're just willing to work, you can make a lot of money. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah. No, it's not the case.
Yeah.
Most people can't do it. I'm not proud to say it, but I've tried to help a lot of, let's do this. I'm going to help you out. You want to help your friends. You want to help.
If it's just like real estate.
Vast majority of people can't do it.
It takes a different mindset. You got to be built different and different work ethic. And
it takes a certain, Again, I'm not condoning it, but it took me, I had a mentor after I came out of prison who helped me kind of see that because I was embarrassed of that. I was like, but he was like, hey, there's certain skill sets. Not everybody can reach that level of success as a drug dealer. Not condoning it, definitely wrong, but he had me write down, what are the skill sets that you needed to achieve that. So
no, I think it's important that you talk about it because hopefully there's at least one guy or girl, but probably guy, you're gonna listen to this and be like, so I have skill sets. I don't have to do this. I could make money, a lot of money, applying these skill sets elsewhere. I think it's important you talk about it. You're not condoning it. You just you shining a light. Someone else can move towards a different light.
100%. I think there's this guy that said this. His name is Thomas Wilhite. He has this thing where he says that there's 3 groups of people. There's one group whose life is doing good. He's started and founded the longest running seminar in the U.S. right now, right? Personal development seminar.
Okay.
So he helps people change their lives. And so he said this group whose people's lives are doing good, they're already doing good.
Yeah.
Right. There's this group in the middle who go, I'm good. I don't want nothing more. He said, these guys, you cannot help. Right? You cannot help. So and then this other group of people who went 100 miles an hour in the wrong direction. Right? These guys, if you don't judge what they do good or bad or right or wrong, these guys, you just give them a new vision. They can change. They can change the world. Yeah. These are untapped resource of leaders right here.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And so that I bought into that. I was like, oh, that's me. Right? I'm the guy that I'm ambitious. I had all these skill sets. You cannot be a successful drug dealer and not keep your word.
Yeah.
That's what it is, right? You're not running to the cops for help, right? You're not going to court to work out a dispute. You have to be able to go, hey, you know what? This is what I want. I'll deliver this. And you got to be able to deliver.
Yeah.
Right? Again, not condoning it, but there's certain skill sets. You got to be able to communicate with people. You got to be able to manage. And so what I have learned through that had me realize and see there's so much guys, especially out in the West Side.
Yeah.
There are a lot of hustlers out there. Yeah. You talk about small business, guys who are out there trying to you talk about businesses on the side of, on the side of the road where they're selling poke or fish or flowers that's where all the entrepreneurs are.
Yeah. Make Portuguese horseshoes,
sell
them on, breed dogs, whatever it is.
Exactly. Whatever it is, the West Side hustles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's your hustlers.
Yeah.
So you just need to give them that vision of going, hey, you can take this.
Yeah.
And you can go in this direction. Yeah. And I've had some young up and coming, hustlers come up and say, man, Charles, what I got to do? Right? They kind of know me. They see me as kind of that OG guy who's been there, right? And they go, hey, what I got to do? And I think some of them think I might be still involved a little bit at some level, right?
Yeah. And
I go, hey, you know what? Man, stop the dumb stuff, dude. That's and I tell you what, it's chump change.
Yeah.
Right now, to be honest, right? When you're running illegal game, you cannot get too big.
That's when they're letting you at a lower level. They let you operate, right? because they get the big fish.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
But at some level, you cannot deal with all this cash.
Yeah.
You can't put it in the bank.
You can't
You
wash
can't
it.
buy stuff.
Yeah.
You cannot, right? And so then now you got a target on your back, not only with the feds, but with other hustlers trying to rob you, or you know what I mean, or even your friends going to try to take from you. There's too much problems involved with any illegal activity.
Right.
And even if you work it, you're lucky if you can get away with it for about 5 years. To me, if you get 5 years, man, that's a pretty good run.
Yeah.
You're lucky if you can get 10 years. That's kind of unheard of.
Unheard of, yeah.
10. But you can go for 10 years, build a business, and have it taken away, and you're locked up for life.
Yeah.
Right? Why is it's not even worth it?
Right. And yeah. Okay.
It's not even worth it. And then and to me, it's like, again, it's chump change. Once you do it legit, as I told him, I was like, bro, chop that. I was like, how much you make? I think it's to get me certain numbers. I'm like, bro, that's chump change.
Yeah.
You go legit, sky's the limit.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can just make, like crazy amounts of money.
Yeah.
And I look back, I'm like, oh, that was kind of stupid. So I was risking my life, for such small amounts of money. And to me, that was like, as a 20-something-year-old, I was making about 30 grand a month. And to me, that's good money.
That's good money.
Yeah,
for
it's
anybody.
good money for anybody.
Yeah,
that's good money.
It's good money.
But what I've learned, really how money works,
Yeah.
really how you can be successful, it's like, man, it's just chump change.
And then
so much more money you can make legitimately.
30,000 active versus 30,000 passive. That's two different things. And when you start to educate and understand that, 30,000 active with the risk involved in that, that's even another thing. So even worse, that money's even worse. It's too much risk, too much exposure.
Not even the risk exposure, is that lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you married, your marriage gonna fail.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Yeah.
Either you can get locked up for like 20 years, and I don't wish that on anybody.
Right.
Or you evolve in a lifestyle that's not conducive for you to have a successful marriage.
Your competitor sending you pictures of your kids at school or something like that.
You just always involved in some dumb stuff. You're always out with them. You exposed to too much temptation and women and partying and that lifestyle of people with very, very low standards.
Right.
You know what I mean? No disrespect to but for people who are like, if you involve selling drugs, being faithful to your wife isn't the most important thing.
Yes.
That just is what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
And if you're that rare person that it is, maybe you have so much talent to do it legit.
Yeah.
That person is so unique. And
So that whole lifestyle to me is just so much that comes with that negativity that comes with that. It's just not even worth it. When you start weighing the pros and cons, it's not worth it.
So you're being loyal to a guy, and instead of, in my mind, I'm like, oh, you could have built the biggest construction empire.
Exactly.
You could have been Kobayashi, like Hew-Len.
Yep.
But instead, because you're working for him, you're looking for something else as a side hustle. Mm-hmm. It took off. One thing led to another. You elevate in the ranks, and then you catch a case.
Yeah.
We don't have to get into the details. You told me about it. How long you went to federal prison?
Federal, 8.5 years.
8.5.
Yeah.
And what the story I heard was either your cellmate or your near you, cellmate next door or something, was Jordan Belfort.
Jordan, yeah, Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
You were in a cell with him?
No, so my
He was close by?
Yes, he was across. So my cellmate was the the machine you use to test your eyes when you get your eye test.
The one that blow air and all this?
No, the one that comes down and they flip so you can see.
All these different things?
Yeah. So he was the inventor of that machine.
What he was doing in federal prison?
So when I went to prison in 01, there were a lot of these like white collar dudes got like locked up. So there was a time where from people familiar with stocks, the Sarn-Burns and Oxley Act, where they had to change certain laws because these guys were fidgeting numbers to inflate their stock prices.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then when they caught these dudes, man, a whole wave of them just came into prison.
So a SEC case.
Yeah,
Pretty much caught, right?
It was huge. We had hedge fund guys in there. I was the dumbest guy there.
That was a great time to be in federal
It
prison.
was like, yeah. I mean, I'm sitting in breakfast, and I got this hedge fund guy here. I got this lawyer here. I got this doctor over here. Like, you're surrounded by these smart, really successful dudes. Right?
Wow.
That coming from Waianae, you don't meet people like that.
Yeah.
I would have never met somebody like that. Now, my roommate, Harvard MBA grad,
Oh, wow.
right, started this medical company. I'm watching him raise $20 million from our cell.
From the cell?
From my cell. I'm on the top bunk because he's older.
What do you mean? He's like he's campaigning like a seed round for a project or like a funding round?
So what he did was he was a medical inventor, and then when he invents a product, he raises the funds, starts the company, and then he sells it to a public. So he never took a company public. He'll get acquired by a publicly traded company.
Yeah.
Right? take some cash, hold on to some of his stock, go
Go do them again.
go invent another product. So he was a serial inventor,
Yeah.
medical inventor. So I'm watching him raise $20 million from my cell block. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm above my cell because the table's right here. I'm like watching him. And he goes, oh, what is that? And he's like telling me what is it, but I don't understand a lot of this stuff, his terms and words. I didn't understand because I graduated at the bottom of my class.
Yeah.
I barely made it.
First to graduate in your family.
No, not really. No, other family members graduated,
Wow,
but for
yeah.
my parents.
For your parents, yeah.
Oh,
Me, I was the first in my whole family.
Oh, wow.
Cousins, uncles, nobody graduated high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But so you see these guys
And so he's helping me understand, private placements, all these things like that. But so I had to carry a dictionary. Actually, my first 3 years in prison, I had to carry a dictionary.
Wow.
Because I couldn't understand a lot of the words that they were saying. So he was that guy. And then Jordan Belfort was across. His roommate was Tommy Chong.
Who's that?
Tommy Chong was this actor from Cheech and Chong. Was this old comedic.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that was his roommate.
What? Selling buds or what?
That was back then. He got busted for selling paraphernalia over the internet because internet is a federal. Anything over the internet is federal case.
Oh.
So if you advertise anything illegal on the internet, it becomes a federal case.
Oh, okay.
So he was selling paraphernalia, bongs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Back in the time when it was illegal.
You couldn't sell a bong. Say it's for a cigarette, for tobacco.
Back then they were cracking down.
He probably overreached. And
and it was Tommy Chong, so he was like the spokesperson for weed, right? Everything weed.
Yeah.
They were trying to get weed legal. He's the guy you put on,
Yeah.
So he I think they want probably more make an example out of him, try to quiet him up.
So you're in there getting an MBA.
I'm locked up with smart dudes with nothing but time.
In federal prison is not so bad where they're like 23 hours in a cell.
No. So I went to a prison camp. There's no fences, no barbed wires. We could just walk wherever you get.
Wow.
My mom them showed up. They've seen everybody walking around in the parking lot. They're like, what is everybody doing? And I was like, we can just walk around wherever.
Wow.
Yeah, there's no fences, barbed wires.
I would,
it's like a college. It was
for
like a
some
college
kids,
campus.
I would pay to go to that prison for some kids. It's like boarding school and getting a master's in business.
As it was. That's fortunately for me.
Wow.
I made the best use out of it. Like, I'm going to be here. I might as well learn. I talked to the successful guys, which I thought, at that time, I was a successful drug dealer, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm the
$30,000 a month. They're like,
psh. I'm walking over with these guys whose wives rolling up in Bentleys, and I'm like, what the heck? Oh, these guys are balling. These guys for real.
Yeah.
We do 100 million here. I'm like, what the heck? Like, what I got to do to get on that level, right? What I got to do? And I guess they could tell I really didn't have an education.
Yeah.
So they say, hey, you need to get an education.
Wow.
You need to. I'm like, okay, all right. So I signed up for a community college.
So they were advocates of a formal education.
Yeah, for sure.
That's interesting. I appreciate you saying that because even me, I'm like, school, like, who cares about school?
Yeah.
Mark Cuban, though, they asked him in an interview, and he said, people who say that are idiots. You need to learn how to speak business, how to speak finance, and you do that at school because he went to Indiana, right?
Yeah.
But so these guys said, no, go get the paper. It's not just a piece of paper.
It wasn't about the paper, I think, and I could tell the difference. And I think when you communicate with someone who has an education, not necessarily education, even I've experienced this with people who love to read. Mm-hmm. My wife, only had a little bit of college, but when you talk to her, she is brilliant. The way she communicates, so I think it becomes like a mental muscle. She's on the radio actually, Island 95.
Oh yeah,
you listen to Island 95?
I don't really. I'm always listening to business books or whatever.
So Island 95, the morning wake up crew.
Okay.
Yeah, Auntie Brandy, that's her.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's her. But when I first met her, I'm like, man, this girl. Did you go to college? And like, oh no, like I couldn't. Something in me was like, something up with this girl. Like, what is it? Because when you meet someone who like I said, either reads a lot or has a formal education, the way they communicate is different. They communicate clearly. Yeah, they communicate their words better. They can formulate ideas faster. So it's like to me, an education builds you that mental muscle.
Yeah.
You can understand something, process it real quick, and then shoot it right out.
I appreciate hearing that from you because I'm a little, my high school teachers offended me and they're like, oh, you're never gonna be anything kind of thing. And then I said, school is pointless. But I like hearing that challenge from you because it's totally different.
Yeah.
So these guys,
I had me go to school. Yeah. So I
told
to
you
learn
education.
Yeah. And I'm writing my papers by hand. right? Because I didn't know. I never learned how to type, and the teacher going, "Hey, it's gonna take you forever. You're gonna go to college. You better learn how to type."
And so what? Is there like a college professor in the prison?
No, what they did is the first day of registration, they'll come to the prison in the visitation. All the teachers sign up, and you go to the class you want to sign up, and then they'll just send you your assignments.
Okay.
And they send your assignments. You go to the visitation. They say, "Oh, assignments are in." You go over there, pick it up. You do your assignments, and you just drop it off at we had a library.
Okay.
You drop off your assignments at the library, and then we get like proctored exams. So one teacher would come. A bunch of guys would go up there, take their tests,
Okay. So what did you get? Associates?
I got an associate. I went to Taft College, got an associate's in business, AS in business, general business. And then they didn't have anything after that. And so I took a distance learning upper division courses from LSU.
Okay.
Business courses, LSU. And then they sent me down to, while I was there, that's when I learned real estate.
Was the federal prison in Louisiana?
No.
Oh, okay.
But LSU at the time were the only ones that had distance learning courses through like snail mail.
Yeah, because back then wasn't like every school was online, right?
No, never have online.
Yeah,
they didn't
University
have.
of Phoenix.
They didn't have University of Phoenix. That wasn't. Yeah, so you needed a college that was willing to like mail you your stuff.
Wow.
And so LSU would like send you an envelope and mail you your assignments.
Okay.
Right, and you could get their books and you could mail it back. So I was doing that. But there was a guy who was in the federal prison who did real estate.
Okay. What did he do?
He did fourplexes. So his angle was he would buy fourplexes, renovate them, turn around, sell it, because you could qualify for a regular mortgage could qualify, or FHA loan, excuse me, could qualify for fourplexes.
Right.
So he focused on fourplexes and selling it to people who would get FHA loans.
Yeah.
How he got wrapped up was he was giving them the 3%, 3.5% for the down payment. Because FHA, you only need like 3.5%, right? And so he was giving them that 3.5% down in order to buy the properties. And back then, they was giving anybody mortgages, right?
Yeah.
You had a heartbeat, you get a mortgage.
Okay.
Right? And so, but he that's what made it a federal crime.
Oh. I didn't know that actually as a real estate. So if I go fund someone else to use an FHA, because basically I'm leveraging the government product.
FHA is a government product.
I'm leveraging the government product as an investor. So I'm
if you violate a federal government product, it becomes a federal crime.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
he was giving them the 3.5%. It's like, it's no worry. I'll give you the 3.5%. He'll get it back at closing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how he got wrapped up.
Okay. And so you learned from all these guys.
I learned from.
And
these
what
guys,
did I heard when you got out, you like were slanging pizzas, had no AC in your car, and But before that, how did things start to change? What did you start to think like, shit? When I get out, I'm gonna go to Hawaii and do it legit or abundant. Like what changed in there? 8 years?
Okay, so I ended up doing 7.5. But what happened was my first year, I was just stressed.
Yeah.
Right. I was married at the time. Wife filed divorce papers.
Yeah.
She sent me, custody. She's taking full custody of the kid. Right. I'm losing everything. Right.
Yeah.
My business partners in the recording studio, they stopped sending me money.
Of course.
Right. Yeah. Everybody started disappearing. Right. They shut down the nightclub. I lose everything. So I'm just stressing out. And it came to a point about a year in where I contemplated suicide.
Wow.
I'm in solitary confinement, and that. I've been through a lot, been in the Marines, been through a lot of stuff, but being alone in solitary confinement for 30 days, that was the worst.
Wow.
Yeah, that's probably why they consider that probably the worst punishment they can give to humans, right?
I was in jail for like 6 hours,
Yeah.
7 hours. And
that's long.
Bruh.
Yeah, you're gonna you was in a cell block then, right?
Like a drunk ticket. I didn't get drunk. What happened was I didn't pay a parking ticket from like 4 years prior.
Yeah.
I got pulled over for registration, and they took me in. They couldn't even see what it was. They're like, there's a warrant for something.
Yeah.
And I was super compliant.
Yeah.
Even to the point the police officer let me call my wife on her phone when she wasn't supposed to. Yeah. But they took me in, and like it was interesting because there's 3 cells and 3 guys. So they put the black guy in the cell with all the black guys. We move forward in a line. They send the howdy guy, the white guy over there. They put me in the brown cell. And it was interesting because everybody eyeing each other out, measuring, you know, who can scrap who, whatever. And And after a while, they were all gone. So like the last 4 hours was just me. And I was like, shit, I wish those guys was here.
Yeah.
Like just to have somebody around. I
it's
got
tough
out.
being alone.
Bruh, I got out and I was like, freedom is amazing.
No. I tell you, freedom. You never appreciate freedom until you have it taken away.
Bruh. And I went to court and they were like, sir, what is this? Can I just give you the minimum and let you go? It'll be like $100. I was like, Your Honor, of course. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
But I got out and I was like, freedom is amazing. I'm going to tell people don't screw up. Like that was just 4 hours alone in a cell.
I don't even jaywalk anymore, bro.
Yeah.
Fed scared me straight. Like I
Yeah.
pay my taxes. I ain't going back.
Yeah.
But no, I can sit 4 hours by yourself. Imagine 30 days.
So things started to change and you, well, not yet. You 30 days alone, contemplate suicide.
Yeah.
I
start getting sick. I start hallucinating. Because when you don't eat, you start getting sick, right? Your immune system starts dropping. So I start hallucinating, getting sick, getting cold sweats.
Really?
Yeah, it's bad.
Why did you have to be in solitary? You scrapped somebody
No. It wasn't even my fault. I mean, my fault being in prison, but that wasn't my fault. What had happened was I was having an issue at the time with my wife at the time, my ex-wife, but she, I'd found out she was seeing somebody.
Oh, yeah.
And so we got into kind of we didn't get into an argument. I didn't even say nothing. But she knows my temper could be pretty bad, right? So all I did was, she was in visitation. I looked at her and I was like, what? Like that. Yeah. And she freaked out and left. And so I called her on the phone. I was like, why'd you walk out? And it's like, oh, I was just scared. And it's like, oh, yeah, as we was talking. It's like, oh, hey. Like, you still love me? It's like, yeah, I want to kick your ass, but I still love you. Like that. Exactly like that. As soon as I hung up the phone, they go, Hew-Len. Like, oh, yes. Okay, the guys downstairs said that you threatened your wife. I was like, what?
Yeah.
So they threw me in the shoe.
And the way we talk, local people you know
what I mean?
That
it was
seems
like
a
that.
little extreme for just that, for something like that.
Yeah, but that's how. Unfortunately, I mean, at the time I was complaining, but really, when you put yourself in that position, you're gonna expose yourself to everything that comes with that.
So federal prison on one hand, or this federal prison situation, you could walk around, do whatever, but you got to stay in line because if you make one little misstep.
Yeah, well, that was over here in Honolulu.
Oh, that wasn't federal.
No, that was federal, but that was a detention center.
The one by the airport. Yeah, but back at Hickam.
Yeah. So when that opened, I was the first one. We were walking there, everything smelled brand new. It's pink, brand new, beds brand new. So I was over there. I was still my case was still going on when this happens.
Oh, okay. I know someone used to be in there, and I visit them too.
Yeah. So like that. So my first year I spent my first 6 months I was in county jail because they didn't have any federal prison. So they sent you to the mainland. When you came to court, they shipped you back, went to court, and then they sent you back to the mainland.
Where on the mainland?
I was in Kern County. Gangster.
Where's that?
It was in like Bakersfield.
Bruh.
So these guys gangster. Dude,
they was trying to scare me out of cops.
Yeah.
And they know it's just like a parking ticket. Like nothing. Yeah. I mean, there were guys who scrapped and was drunk the night before and whatever. And it was a weekend. And so and I'm kind of prideful. I got my ego, whatever. But I was like, I'd bang on the door. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, officer, I was just wondering if, and I trying to be respectful, yeah. And one time he came back to me and he goes, you know, it's the weekend and Sacramento hasn't gotten back to us about what to do with you, so we might have to send you to San Quentin until Monday. And I was like, San Quentin? Yeah. But I started to get scared. I was like, I do jiu-jitsu and but San Quentin.
None of that stuff matter when you get to prison up there, man. Those guys will stab you.
Bro, I was like, San Quentin. Yeah. I don't think, hopefully it was never even a real thing, but I was. So anyway, so you're over here back at Hickam, federal.
Yeah.
How did things start to shift? I'm interested in how your mindset.
I'm about to I'm contemplating suicide, getting sick, and then I had my friend comes in, and food is valuable. So if you don't eat your food, at least go get it, give it to somebody.
Yeah.
You can't just not get it.
Yeah.
It's probably the most valuable currency in prison. So I'd get up, get my plate, give it to my friend, go back to bed. I did that for like 2-3 days.
Just depressed, that's why?
Just depressed, yeah. And then my friend came in one day. He was like, I can't see you do this anymore. He's like, you know what? You gotta step into it. You gotta think about when you first met your wife. Think about when you saw your baby first born. Like he had me bring up all these memories that I was internally struggling and trying to push away. Mm-hmm. right? And as he's telling me to bring up these memories, I start breaking down crying for the first time in my life. I mean, like bawling, like that. And he goes, you know what? I'm not gonna, because usually they tap you, right? Hey, it's okay. He's like, I'm not gonna tap, because usually when they tap you, it's because it's okay, like calm down.
But he wants you to process it, though.
He wants you to like, he's like, no, I'm not gonna. He's like, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna. I want you to like, just keep experiencing that.
Yeah.
So he started bringing up all these memories, like, and it's crying. And he did that for like maybe 15, 20 minutes. All of a sudden, the crying just stopped on its own. And for me, I've never had that happen. I was like, wow, it's kind of weird. It's like, how do you feel? I was like, I guess I feel a little better. It was like this new connection with my feelings that I never understood. Because I grew up from the men don't cry.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Suck it up, things like that. So people never saw me cry.
And even the Mormon church is kind of structured and ranked, and it's not this like emotional situation.
No,
right?
no,
like
no. Emotions is not something that you really would talk about or dealt with. It's always hidden.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, you know what? How you feeling? He's like, I feel a little better. He's like, you know what? Get up, get dressed like you're going to visitation. So visitation is a big thing, right? So you iron your clothes, you shower, you don't white T-shirt, but everything you shave, right?
Yeah. And
so go do that, and then go meet me in the room. So there's a room reserved for like religious services. So go meet me in there. So I go, okay, I do all that. Go in the room. And he goes, okay. He's like, you have a special place? I'm like, oh, special place. What is that? And he goes, place that you can go in your mind that you feel like connected, and I go, no. So I thought about this place one time. I was up by North Shore side, went up on a mountain, kind of overlooking the ocean. That's the only I could think of. I was there, and so he goes, okay, lay down. So he had me lay down, and then he walked me through this like meditation, like you're walking and you're going and he takes me to go, you're at your special place, you lay down, look around, and then he has me relax, you're going to relax your head. He starts working my way down to my body, right?
He's like, is this guy's a Reiki healer or something?
No, he's just some dude at the time. He's just some dude, right? His name is Archie. He's like, it's just some dude. He was a drug dealer.
Wow.
Right? And so he's having me do all these exercises, and then about maybe 30 minutes pass, and he goes, okay, open your eyes. I go, how you feel? I'm like, I felt like calm for like the first time. In probably like a long time, like years, not just in prison. I'm talking like 10, 15 years. I've never felt this calm.
Wow. And
then he goes, okay, stand up. So I stand up. So we're looking at each other just like this. He goes, you trust me? I go, yeah, I trust you. I'm like, I don't give a shit already, right? Like, whatever. I'm ready to like kill myself, so I'm down. And then he goes, okay, on a count of 3, we're going to jump up and scream. You're going to jump up as high as you can, reach for the ceiling, and scream, I'm excited 3 times. Like, I'm excited. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. You ready? I'm like, oh, okay. All right. I feel a little comfortable. He goes, 1, 2, 3. I'm excited. And we start cracking up laughing. I got this huge smile on my face that doesn't go away for hours.
Hysteria.
Hours. And I'm like, I never felt this good in my life. Like, I cannot remember since I was probably a little kid since I ever felt this happy. We go have dinner. I eat dinner for the first time. I'm out in the yard with everybody else hanging out, and I grab him. I'm like, bro, what happened? I still feel happy. Like, what the heck? And something happened in me. I was like, if I could figure out what this was, that's a game changer. If I could be this happy and this fulfilled, in prison, and I still don't have anything, I still lost everything. Yeah, it's a game changer. Wow. And so I really set my life to figure out what was that, what created that, what was the science behind everything that just happened, and I got obsessed by it. Like, I got obsessed. I started reading. I read my very first book was Tony Robbins.
So I was just thinking, I think of Tony Robbins jumping on the trampoline. Breathing.
Yeah. So I do that. Like the daily magic, my morning priming, right? Is I get up, I do my thing, I prime myself in the morning. I visualize, Rick. I've done that for years. Okay. And so I got totally obsessed with doing that, and I learned how to transform my life in here while in prison. And I felt the most happy I've ever felt. Wow. And that's when I knew my life was going to change. I was like, I'm going to get out. It's a game changer already.
Wow. Do you keep in touch with this guy?
I always, every once in a while, he texts me, say, I love you too. And he's out, yeah. So I always say, you the guy that you saved my life.
Bruh. Well, that's amazing. Okay, so that happens. You eventually make it to the mainland. Jordan Belfort's across from you. This guy's in the cell with you, etc. Are there any like one or like moments of epiphany from those guys? Like Wolf of Wall Street's a sexy guy, right? That's like attached to your story, which is pretty cool. But is there like a, he said this and that really hit, was an epiphany for me, or is it just more of a process? They told me go to school, and then I heard their conversations. I was around their mindset. Their goals were hundreds of millions, not like thousands. Like, was it gradual?
I think it was a little bit of a lot.
Yeah,
a little bit of a lot of people that had an impact. Just being around so much people who were weird to say because they're in prison, but further ahead of me.
Yeah, but no, you were around amazing people. Like, impressive humans.
Yeah. That who made mistakes just like me. And one of those guys that they're not coming back.
Yeah.
Right? They go, oh, I made a mistake. They're not coming back.
Yeah.
But from I actually credit a lot of my success to my roommate, who gave me what I always go to, the foundation of wealth.
Yeah.
He says, if you can do this, you're gonna be successful. Be frugal.
Yeah.
That's it.
Really?
He said, be frugal. That's the number one thing. He says, if you cannot save, if you cannot watch your money grow without the urge to spend it, you will never be rich.
Wow.
Because being rich is having money in the bank or having an asset, having assets that you can look at and go, I have this here.
Right.
But if you have it and your first instinct is to spend it, you'll never have it.
Yeah. Wow. I appreciate you saying that because, I'm doing better now, and I'm guilty of lifestyle creep. Anytime it's like, oh, we go eat out, we eat out, And granted, my time in the kitchen isn't worth it. Yeah. I can justify it. But like recently, I look around, I want a Chevy Z71 or a GMC. I want it. But I drive a 2014 Subaru. And I keep having to remind myself literally every day, like, get another rental, don't get a truck. But I want the truck. And I'm guilty of that lifestyle creep.
It's good. It's good that you go through that, but that's the resistance that you need to build that mental muscle.
Yeah,
that's that resistance. You're up against that resistance, the urge to spend.
Yeah,
when you can overcome that, right?
And
the muscle gets stronger and stronger, and it gets so strong at some point. Like by the time I think the first thing I splurged on was my dream car. I've had a lot of dream cars, but my dream car that I wanted after I got out of prison was an S-Class, the S63 AMG.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm not a big car guy, but I know it's a Mercedes, right?
It's a Mercedes, but it's a 4-door. It's the gangster. You know what I mean? It's the big one.
That's what Dustin Amoto had that one. Huh? Do you know Dustin?
Dustin, yes.
He's selling it because he's getting on truck now.
Yeah. So, but he has the his one is a beast though. His one is fixed up, but mine comes out stock. It's the race one.
Yeah.
It's the AMG one.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
His one, I think it was the 5 something. It's still hell expensive, and he like souped it up. It's super sick. It's nice.
Yeah.
But mine comes out stock. It's like the stock model one,
Yeah,
which is more expensive. Probably you better off buying a cheaper one and making it.
No, but there's something about flexing on that.
It was what it is. To have the AMG badge, right?
The
S63 AMG. Yeah, that's kind of that flex. But by the time I bought that car, I think I passed like 20 million already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got that muscle. It started to get so strong.
Yeah.
I started I got naturally
20 million away in assets held.
Net worth? No, I go just totally net worth. Yeah.
Gotta get around bigger mindsets, bro. Yeah. And so you got out of I'm frugal in some ways.
And I bought it used too.
You bought it used?
Oh, I'm not gonna buy brand new. I bought used. I'm gonna look for the deal. Right? I bought used. I ended up buying it for like $78,000, which to me is a flex.
That's a flex.
You know what I mean?
Shoot,
like I buy stuff, assets that's like even this one. I had the ferry lady asking me, "Oh, what?" Because it's a Rolex. But I bought it for. It's not the fact that I'm flexing that I have a Rolex.
You got a Rolex and a rubber ring on your thing.
Yeah. Because I'm not about flexing. You know what I mean? Yeah, because it's comfortable. But the reason I got the Rolex is $8,700. And the ferries lady said she'll buy it for like 11.
Wow.
Right?
So it's an asset.
It's an asset.
Exactly.
Right? It's cool. I get to wear it. I don't lose money. If I need money, boom, gone.
It's a storage of wealth.
Exactly.
I'm frugal in some ways. So I live in a 900 something square foot house, even though I could go bigger. We drive 2014, 2016 cars. Like on the big macro stuff, we're frugal. But if you like go grind CPK tonight, I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, we go.
Yeah.
But before I was like, I would never grind CPK. You know, like I was really frugal before.
No, me, like you said, like I'd be in my Honda Accord. Rolled window. I heard if the windows rolled up, it's more aerodynamic, so you save gas.
So that's
I'm
what
sweating over there, like, oh, it's so hot.
I think that's what Jordan was telling me. So let's go to there. So you transform in prison, and you come out with probably not a pot to piss in, right? Or you're not
Nothing.
And-
I came out with sweats. You have these gray sweats and letters, and I came home, and then my mom took me. So you go to the halfway house, which is in Kalihi.
Okay.
So a halfway
Why
house.
is that like a transition?
It's like a transition home. Yeah, you got to
Okay.
stay there supposedly for 6 months, and then they let you home.
Oh, okay.
But if you do good, they can let you out earlier.
Okay.
But you go at the halfway house. You only can leave to go to work, leave an hour workout, and go to church on Sundays.
Okay.
And so, as soon as I touched down, so let me back up a little bit. You say I was in prison. When I say I got obsessed, I read Tony Robbins. I started getting obsessed. I started reading a ton of books. I probably read a book every 3 days.
Okay.
While I'm going to college full time.
What are some of the good books? Rich Dad.
I mean, I read everything. Anything
all
you get
of
your hand,
them.
all of them.
All of them.
Like I said,
Yeah.
all of them. Stuff that's kind of weird out there too already. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But I just read everything I get my hands on.
Yeah.
Constantly reading. I realized when I was in prison, some guys got weird because I worked because you only make like 37 cents an hour, right? And so whenever I touch down to the new spot, and they always give you the worst jobs, clean the showers. Who wants to clean showers after guys, right? So I'm going there and I'm just cleaning shit out of that shower. Like I'm scrubbing, like they're like, dude, what are you doing? You know, like, you gotta, you're making us look bad or whatever. But in my mind, I realized I was creating a habit.
Yeah.
Right, I'm creating a habit.
Work ethic.
If I only gonna work hard whenever I feel like I'm gonna make enough, I'll never develop the habits to work hard, right? So
Okay.
I was just gonna grind. I'm gonna work hard no matter what. I'm gonna get up at 5 o'clock, even if in prison. Even if you can get up at 9, 10, whenever you don't have to do nothing, I'm getting up at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm working out, right? So
What
I
time
was
to
the
get
one
up
guy
is-
in prison that was always moving. I was walking somewhere.
Yeah.
We're in prison. Everybody just chill,
Yeah.
right? Or they're watching TV, or they're smoking, or they're playing cards. Everybody's just very chill.
Yeah. Passing time.
I was the one guy that was aggressively walking. You look at people look at me and go, "Yeah, you're gonna do something with your life for sure." Because I was just aggressive.
So I don't even think the book was out at that point, but you were building Atomic Habits.
I never read the book.
You never read the book,
I heard
yeah.
the book. I seen the book though.
It's just
After a while, I stopped kind of reading.
Yeah, you get.
It kind of gets repetitive
At this point,
after a while.
I have a hard time reading,
Yeah.
but it's like,
I started getting more into like biographies.
yeah.
I started reading biographies of successful people.
Pulling out the
Yeah.
principles from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Atomic Habits just talks about it's not discipline, like your habits are your life, and so
Yeah.
it starts with a small action and then it compounds. And
Yeah, okay.
Like compound effect, but
Yeah.
a little more scientific.
Yeah.
So you were doing that.
Just doing that, yeah. When I work out, I go, oh, we have cheat days. Cheat days, I'm not gonna cheat. You know what I mean? Because in my mind, if I allow myself to cheat, I'm gonna be a cheater.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cheat on my wife. I'm gonna cheat on this, right? Because I realized when I went to prison, one of the moments when my life turned, and I remember being on the side of my bunk crying. I'm like, how did I end up in here? I was a good kid, how did I end up here? I started to see all those little compromises that I made over time.
Yeah.
Right? It's okay if I talk to this girl. We're only talking.
Yeah.
It's okay if you give her that number. You know what I mean? Now I'm full-blown cheating on my wife.
Yeah.
It's okay if I sell a little weed. It's just weed. You know what? I'm already selling weed. I might as well just go more weed. You know what? Weed is so bulky. I might as well sell ice because it's you know what I mean? So nobody just gets into crime and do a full-blown crime. If you're doing a full-blown crime, you've been committing crime.
Right.
You just elevated yourself. And I realized it works the opposite direction as well. And so I told myself, that's why I say the standard, right? The standard, what I want to do for the West Side is I got to raise my standard so high and just keep it there and be mindful of the little things every day, Like I'm really anal about it. Like if I walk next to, I'm very giving. Right. But there's sometimes I get a vibe. I'm not going to give just because I give, right?
Yeah.
So I might see a homeless person or something and they ask me for money and I go, and there was one time I was in Vegas. Oh, I don't have any cash. And I walk by and I go, wait, I had cash.
Yeah.
Why did I, you know what I mean? I'm not always perfect, but I catch myself to go,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, it's just cash. But if I allow myself to justify it's okay to start lying, not being honest, I could just be honest and say no.
Yeah.
Right? What is it in me that's so fearful to just being honest?
Yeah.
Right? So I practice. That's a constant practice to keep myself at that level to not slide.
You're like a entrepreneurial monk. of sorts. Like every little action means something in the world.
It means something.
To you, yeah.
It means something, and I make sure that I don't allow myself. It's like you can slip. It's like when you exercise. Like I try to keep in good shape.
Yeah.
Right. But for some people, they can slip to 50 pounds and still not feel uncomfortable.
That's
right. Or 100 pounds, whatever. Right. So I compare it to like rock climbing, where they put that thing in the wall and they climb up, and if they fall, they don't go all the way down.
Right.
You only fall to this point.
Yeah.
So what I do is I've learned to keep a very tight leash. Like if I can go over here 10 pounds, I get uncomfortable already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My account dip below this, which is higher than normal. Like most people, I don't need this much.
Right.
But if my account goes below this, I get, right? Otherwise, if you don't raise this set point, you're always just going to go up and down. You're going to make $100,000, go lose $100,000. Make $100,000, you can cut out down. Right? That was happening for me. Hit 100. Oh, my goal is to make have $100,000 in cash, which I did my first year out of prison.
Yeah.
First, I came out in January 2007. By December 2007, I had like 98,000 cash in the bank.
Wow.
And I was like, I did it. All of a sudden, the account started to dip a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The mental habits start kicking in. Like, it's okay. I can start spending. So what happened is I learned to keep a tight set point. I raise it and keep it super tight. And I do that in all areas of my life, with my health, with my relationships, right? With my wife, with my kids, right? Spending time with them. I keep a very tight where I don't go to the gym for 2 days, I get uncomfortable already.
Right. So your mindset changed, and I'm hearing your standards really changed.
Yeah.
Your standards for yourself changed.
Yeah.
And so when you got out, transitioned through the halfway house thing, and eventually you had like a Honda Civic, no AC, aerodynamic with the windows up, and started selling pizzas or started.
No, so what happened was
or?
I knew that I asked my pro officer, I'm gonna start my own business. Like, no, you cannot. You got to go work. So I'm like, okay. But can I start my own business while I'm working? He said, yeah. So I'm trying to find all these loopholes, right?
Yeah.
So he goes, okay, yeah. So can I get a car? I said, no, we can't get a car. I said, but what if it's a company car? Can I get a car? He goes, okay, yeah, you can get a car, right? So I'm like, hey, I guess my problem.
Company of your own company? Or
no, it cannot be your own company. Got to be the company you work for.
Okay.
Right? So I go, hey, can I come? Hey, can I work? I asked my ex-wife's brother. He has his own construction company.
Yeah.
Hey, can I come work? It's like, I don't really need nobody. Just pay me minimum wage. I can work for you.
Yeah,
pay me minimum. It's like, okay, $7.25 an hour.
For construction. Yeah.
Okay. I go, can I get my car? And you get, it's a company car. I fill out paper. You just sign it saying, it's like, okay, yeah. So I was just finding all of these loopholes.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm rolling up to the halfway house, and the only guy had his own car with a Honda. And fortunately, my credit was good.
Yeah.
I went down to the guys. And to get around, you got to put like a job. So I'm going to Nissan to apply for a job. But I really go down there. Yeah, give me an application. Like, I don't want to work. Just give me an application. Fill it out. Say, hey, how to get this car? They look up. You have 800 credit score. Right? And I go, okay. So I bought this like $2,000 Honda 2-door Accord.
Yeah.
Run back over there. And so I find this pizza restaurant for sale in Texas.
Okay.
And I go, the guy wants like $50,000. So my best friend lived in Texas, who was a chef from Waianae.
Okay.
Left Waianae because he was one of the top 10 most wanted in Hawaii at the time.
That's not the guy owned like the ranch out there who takes people four-wheeling? Like,
No.
Okay,
He lives a very quiet lifestyle.
Okay.
He's very, very, very quiet. But yeah, I remember going to 7-Eleven I seen his picture. I walked out. He's in a truck. He was working construction at the time. I go, bro, your face is on that paper. It's like, what? Yeah, you like most wanted.
Oh.
That night he was gone.
Oh yeah.
He never came back. So anyway, he changed his life. He made some investments. He had some money. So I was like, hey, we can buy this pizza restaurant. But I needed the money. So I was like, you know what? Let's just put in an offer. So I'm asking the counselor, hey, can I use your fax machine? He's like, what? Oh, I'm going to buy this business. And so, and there was a payphone. There was a payphone in there because we're not allowed cell phones. So my mom gave me the Ziploc bag of quarters. And I'm negotiating this deal through the payphone.
Wow.
Because we locked in. You cannot get out. It's a building and they're surrounded. And you can't just roam around. You have to stay on that property. So I'm negotiating the deal over there. I'm using my counselor's fax machine. Negotiate the deal, but then I got to get the money. So I get in touch with my aunt and say, Auntie, can you let me $50,000. Give me 4 months to pay you back. But remember I told you when I was in the game, my word was always good. Mm. My word was good. If I said I'm going to do something, I made it happen.
Yeah.
So that kind of helped me, right? Because it was like, okay, yes, I'm the nephew that sold drugs, but his word was always good.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay. So she went to the bank and got a line of credit on her house for the $50,000.
Wow.
And I had to meet her at the bank in Waianae. And I can't just go, so I could put a request. Oh, I'm going to put in an application to American Savings in Waianae. Drive over there. My mom drives me over there. Go there. Get the application, pretend she gives me the check for the line. Go to my other bank, get an application, like I'm going to apply over there, deposit the check, and then shoot it back to the halfway house, and I close the deal.
Wow. And so he's running the pizza parlor in Texas for you, but you're a capital partner.
No, we both went 50-50.
Okay.
And I took care. He was one of those blue collar guys.
Yeah.
He cooks.
Okay.
Right. He knows how to manage the stuff. I negotiated the deal. I took care of the marketing. I took care of all the back office stuff. Right. I took care of all the business stuff. Right. Because now I went to business school. Right.
Yeah.
So even though I was in construction before I went to prison, I learned accounting.
Okay.
I learned all of this stuff. Right. That now I can actually put to use.
Yeah.
In the business.
Yeah.
And then, I ran that business. I had the business for about a year and a half, and then opened up another location. So we expanded.
Okay.
And then
I was wondering, when I heard your story, I was like, what pizza place in Hawaii he did? So it was mainland.
Texas. It's called Big Papa's Pizza. So it was like Hawaiian style. We had Portuguese sausage, kolo pig. Like real Hawaiian foods on the pizzas. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So we had the whole Hawaiian ensemble, the surfboards and the wax and the pitchers. It was all like...
Oh, man. Yeah. Okay. And so then what was the next business? Like, how did...
So when I did that, again, frugality was my key. Mm-hmm. My goal coming out was... I like to compete. I'm a competitor, right?
Yeah.
So I was going to out-save you. That was my mentality.
Okay.
I'm going to out-save you.
Okay.
When I realized how important frugality was,
okay,
I'm going to out-save you. And so I became very creative of figuring out how to save. Just figuring out, how do I, because after a while, you save, you feel like you're kind of missing out on life a little bit. You don't have the quality of life, right?
I struggle with that now.
Yeah. So then you start getting good at figuring out how to get a quality of life while being frugal.
Yeah.
Right? So I started getting kind of good at, okay, let's do this. You can have these little hacks, what they call it now, right? Back then, those wasn't the term hacks. But you kind of figured out how to do that. But I saved, like I said, I ended up saving like $100,000 my first year.
Yeah, that's...
And I never touched my money from the pizza restaurant. Because I always because again, so the first piece of advice my roommate taught me was be frugal. Number 2 is, if you're going to invest, always invest in your business. It's like, don't invest in the stock market and give your money to somebody else. If you walk in there and say, I want to see a book, they're going to be like, who are you? Like, you're not going to get the time of day. And if they lose or the money goes, if the business struggles, there's nothing you can do about it. You have no control. You can't jump in and try to save it.
So not buy real estate.
He said, always reinvest in your own business. That's all he said. Whatever you do, reinvest in you.
Okay.
Right? And so I took that mentality and said, I'm going to, this pizza restaurant, I just going to take the money and reinvest it in the pizza. So we just kept reinvesting everything just to expand it.
Okay.
Let's just grow it. So I never took anything out. I'm working for my ex brother-in-law, and I'm doing side jobs. Because I'm only making $7.25 an hour.
So you're doing drywall on a Saturday?
I'm doing whatever. Anything. Cut grass. You may fix your toilet. You know what I mean? You let me.
Wow.
You want me plunge your toilet, clear it out, whatever.
And how many hours a week you working at this one? What's your work ethic? As much as you possibly can.
All day. I probably had like 5-6 hours sleep.
I teach people that too. So I got a girl. Hopefully, I don't know if she's gonna walk in today. A girl on my team. She was poor, come from poor family, wasn't doing good in real estate. And my challenge to her was, I don't know if you want this smoke. I don't know if you want to work this hard. Like, I'm skilled at making myself sick. I can work so hard. Get strep throat. I know when it's coming. Like, I'm just obsessive. And there's this guy who came up with another real estate brokerage, Keller Williams. This guy, David Osborne, he came up with Gary Keller and all these guys. And he said, I got a lot of friends worth $100 million plus. I don't know anyone that didn't work 10 years in the course of 5. Every one of them worth 100 million plus worked at least 10 years in the course of 5, and then they were able to change their lifestyle. So you kind of got to have some years of obsession now to.
It was. I kid you not. I think I think, well, for my life then, no exaggeration, was the only time I had to myself off was Fridays. I finished work for the construction company, which is in Makaha. We finish at 4 o'clock. And I would see my kids, because I had kids still at the time, right? But I came out of prison. They're kind of grown already. They're finishing high school.
And you lost time.
I lost time. And so I have this pressure to like move.
Yeah.
Like, I got to hurry up.
Yeah.
I'm living with my parents back in the same low income. I'm 35 years old, catching a bus before I bought my car. But I'm catching a bus, and now I have a Honda Accord, living in the same low income house I grew up in as a kid.
Yeah.
My mom had gotten $40,000 in debt trying to take care of me while I was in prison, sending me food, sending me money for food, for phones, bringing my kids to come visit, right?
Yeah.
So I come out, my parents in debt. My dad is like in his 90s already.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Luckily, I was able to come on the seal. But I'm like, once my dad dies, my mom is screwed.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And she in debt for 40 grand. My kids, I got to provide for. That I'm starting from zero.
Yeah. You had
So I had a lot of reasons, like, I gotta move.
You had Kuleana, right?
Yeah, I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I don't have time. You know what I mean? It was like gun to the head. You had the gun to my kid's head and say, you got to make this happen. You have no choice, right? So there was no.
Bro, I love it. Yeah.
There was no excuse for me. I was gonna make it happen. That's why when I was in the halfway house, I never seen any barriers. I'm in a halfway house. Okay, what I gotta do? I get a payphone. Give me quarters.
Okay.
What? I can use our fax machine. Where's the deal in Texas? All right. How do I close this deal? There was no barriers. I don't know how to cook. You know what I mean? I didn't have the money. I wanted it bad enough. You wasn't gonna tell me no.
Yeah.
Right? I have this saying that I would not be denied.
Why Texas? You could buy a window company in Boston. Like what? It's just the thing you saw because you had a boy over there?
It's just that coming happened. I had a boy over there.
Yeah.
It made sense at the time. It didn't make 100% sense. You kind of think about it now. It sounds weird, right?
Yeah.
Hey, let's go open this pizza restaurant in Texas. Yeah, I don't live there, but let's go buy it. I was just so determined to make it work.
You know, people at your level oftentimes have this speed of decision making.
Yeah.
And that's
what I learned. I learned in prison, oddly enough, that when I started learning different skill sets I needed to be successful, it was making quick decisions. So I would practice in prison. Okay, give me this, because it wasn't a strong skill set that I had.
Yeah.
So it was something that I had to develop, which I work with teaching my boys now.
That's something.
Hey, decide this quick. Like, hey, we gotta go. Like, make a decision. Like, what candy you want, right? I'm teaching them to make, because as a kid growing up with a strict mom, the decisions was made for me.
Right.
So I didn't have strong decision making skills.
I'm learning so much right now. I struggle with that because I'm super analytical, especially at the start of something. So like I just moved brokerages. Took me over a year.
Yeah.
And I realized how much time I wasted. Yeah.
That's
a muscle.
I think I have a saying, thinking is overrated.
Wow.
Thinking is overrated. Yeah.
Doing.
I spend some time in my day thinking, figuring out, strategizing my day. After that, I'm done. I'm not. Thinking is overrated. I don't think that, because I can talk myself out of anything if I think it.
Me too. Yeah.
Like if we sat here and thought about opening a pizza restaurant in Texas, everybody would think I was crazy. Like, you know how to cook? Nope. You got the money? Nope. But it's going to make money. You would think, get out of here.
Yeah.
You're wasting my time, right? So
after the pizza company working obsessively, what's next? When do you get?
I started doing all these
estate?
side jobs. I started doing these side jobs, and then I started getting into construction.
Yeah.
That's how I'm kind of getting an income. And then I have this idea to buy my mom's house, because even though it's a low-income housing, it's leasehold.
Okay.
I don't know if you know Ulevehi. I don't know if you're familiar with Ulevehi, but it's across the boat harbor, Waianae Boat Harbor.
Oh, no.
So, but you can kind of buy it, but it's leasehold.
Well, it's not Hawaiian Homeland, right?
No.
Yeah.
So I have this idea to buy the place, which is kind of easy because there's you can do gift of equity. If you ever bought something from a parent or a relative, there's this thing called gift of equity where you can legally gift the down payment. There's no money exchanged.
Yeah, okay.
So I just got the loan for the 80%.
Okay.
Basically, they say get the loan for the 80% and the 20, you don't worry about it because it's your parent, and your parent can gift you the equity.
Yeah.
For the down payment, technically, but which
Okay.
is really like I didn't have to pay for that. But my parents was like, okay, give me that. But I bought the house from them, and that's how I was able to like pay off the 40 grand that they were in debt for. So I took on the loan.
Wow.
Right. So I took on the loan, paid that off. I was kind of making some money, not enough, but between my money, my parents' retirement, and now I figured the cash flow, I'm making about $300 a month from the rental property. We can go buy this house in Makakilo, which now they have no house, no debt. I paid them completely wiped off. They got the HUD loan.
Okay.
Right? We're in the rural. Back then, Couple A was considered rural. So you could
Yeah.
get HUD, which was 100%
USDA financing.
USDA financing, zero down.
Still can.
Yeah, okay.
96707 can. From
Okay.
Waipahu on. Can,
Okay,
yeah.
so zero down. You got a house up in top of Makakilo. It was
Yeah.
like 440,000 at the time, which was market. It wasn't a discount. That was just what was available.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
needed something to make this move. So, and my mom was like, my parents were like, whatever you want. They were supposed to fully supportive.
You understood leverage by this point.
Theoretically,
You never applied it.
yeah,
Yeah.
because my mentors in prison, I ran hundreds of deals, not thousands of deals, just running deals, make-believe deals.
Underwriting.
Just write all kind of deals. So I've written a lot of make-believe deals,
Yeah.
right? And so when I bought my first house with my parents' house, even though it was my first property, it didn't feel like my first property.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, it's my parents' home. I grew up in it. They helped me out.
Yeah.
So when I bought the Makakilo house, I got it under their name.
Okay.
Too. And the mortgage was like $2,600 a month. And it was scary for me. It was like, oh, it's a big amount. Right?
Yeah.
Because my mortgage for the house is only like $800.
Yeah.
So $2,600 was
That's
like,
a lot.
oh.
Yeah.
Right? I never bought a property before. So
Right,
it was
right.
like, oh, okay, I'm stressing. Okay, I got to make it work, right? But
Gotta
between
grind.
our incomes, we can. And so what I did that, eventually I left. I need to make a move, or I need to leave the construction company so I could kind of start doing my own thing. So I'm doing side work, like working nighttime. The last big project I did was a hotel in Waikiki. These guys called me and says, hey, we need you to renovate like 9 units into a handicap unit. So it was like, what? I was like, yeah, I could do it. It was like, okay, I need like 20 grand down though. It's like, okay. So I went and bought it. I didn't have a truck. I didn't have the stuff to do the project.
Wow.
So I'm like, yeah, I could do it. It's like, okay, I need 20,000 down. It's like, okay, they gave me 20 grand. I went, bought a Tacoma because I went to Home Depot, bought a whole bunch of tools.
Yeah.
And I got everything. And after I did that deal, I ended up, just that one deal, I made like 60 grand
Right.
on that one project.
Yeah.
Then now, 2008, 2009 happens, right? The real estate crash. During this time, I'm doing deals. I'm trying to put in offers, but the numbers don't work. I'm like, I'm not getting a deal. I'm like, what's wrong? They
In
work
2009?
2007, 2008.
Okay.
So I ended up buying my parents' home. I didn't say that. I ended up buying my parents' home because I couldn't find any other deal.
Yeah.
I come out banging, looking for deals, putting in offers, but it's not working.
Yeah.
And I start doubting myself for a little bit. I'm like, man, I don't know why they didn't work in prison. And my partner, my best friend, he was with me at the time. We were trying to look for deals. We couldn't find deals. He kept saying, oh, maybe we just got to go more. You got to pay more. I was like, no, that's not what I learned. Like,
Yeah. Can't pinch the margins.
cannot,
You
yeah.
get caught.
No. So, but in theory, right? I don't have enough experience, but I just going based on what I learned. I don't think we can. So that's how we ended up buying a pizza restaurant to get in something.
Okay.
I'm getting something.
Yeah.
So now this happens, and I buy the other house just to make this move. By this time, I'm not paying attention to markets. I don't know the economy. I'm not in that world yet, right? I'm coming off from the street. We never paid attention to the economy.
Yeah.
I learned real estate in prison. So now all of a sudden, I'm looking at a property and look at the number. I don't know where the number should be, but I look at the number. I go, let me run the numbers. I go, 700 cash flow. It's like
In Hawaii.
yeah. It's like, wow. I don't know what's happening. I don't know the market's turning at this point.
Yeah.
I just know I'm so busy doing the pizza restaurant, doing these house things, and all of a sudden I see this property. I go, oh, well, oh yeah, I guess the numbers work. Okay, we buy it. So I buy that property. It was like 90 grand. A 4-bedroom, 1.5 bath.
Where?
In Waianae.
Waianae?
Yeah.
Fee simple.
Leasehold.
Leasehold. Okay.
Yeah. So the same project where I bought mine, but I bought mine at 180.
Oh, 50%.
It went down to 90.
Yeah.
And I went, so immediately I went, wait, I'm making $300 a month on my property. And what was that? Now it's 90? It's got to work. So when I ran the numbers, I was like, oh. So I bought that. I put down 30 grand.
Yeah.
Bought it. But I kind of don't have enough money now.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, what am I gonna do? And I start looking at other properties. I'm going, there's a lot of properties for sale that the numbers work.
There was a clearance going on at that
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Again, I don't know what's happening, right?
The houses were they were selling houses that at a lower price than the copper and the lumber it was built with back then. Yeah.
And so I go to this seminar. I get big in seminars. I go to seminars.
Like PSI.
PSI, yeah. So yeah, you know Sai. Yeah. So I love Sai. So Sai was the first seminar I walked into.
I don't know him, but I would like to meet him. Yeah.
But, so I went into a seminar, and then I met a guy who was in my group, and he was telling me, we kind of share in the seminars, right? And then they're like, I just came out of prison. You know, I own 2 properties. I have a piece of real estate. I'm like, what? They're shocked already. I'm only out of prison like about a year.
Yeah.
Right? And he goes, why don't you come to my house, meet my parents? My parents, the dad is a professor from UH. Like, okay, it's cool. So I go over to the house, meet his dad. Like, I like you. How about I give you $100,000 and we go buy a few more properties? And I go, all right, yeah, I do all the work. Yeah. We split 50-50. He's like, cool. So I took that $100,000. We bought 3 more properties.
Wow.
And then my brother.
How are you getting the leverage at this time? Because at that time, sometimes a doctor couldn't qualify for a loan because they didn't want to give out loans.
I qualified. Well, because the price point was so low at the time still.
Yeah.
You didn't have to make that much money.
Yeah.
So the first 2 I got mortgages on. And then another one I got a mortgage on somebody else's name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I was working it at the time.
Okay.
And then my brother found out. It's like, what? But you have like 5 houses now. Yeah. Like, he just came out. He's like, yeah. So he gave me like $30,000, and then we bought a house. And so it just started to kind of grow from there. People are like, what are you doing? What? Yeah, well, we go buy. And so the money just started kind of getting more and more. And then I remember I did this deal. At that time was my biggest deal. I think the house was like $260,000. It was a big house, like a 10-bedroom house in Miley. And the guy, you know a guy named Khalil McCabe? He was like a wholesaler, pretty big wholesaler back in the day.
Okay.
And he goes, I got this house, so I'm gonna wholesale. You guys can come take a look at it. So it was between me, Michael, what's his name? He was a big flipper back in the day too. Michael Mazzella.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a new generation in the game. Yeah. I really got licensed 4 years ago. Yeah. Been kind of doing well the last 3. The first year I was working a job, wasn't in, and then all the guys I know are more recent.
So Mike Mazzella at the time was big at the time. He was big, flipping a whole bunch of houses on social media, coaching, doing a lot of stuff. Yeah. So he had the name.
Okay.
When it comes to flipping, he was the guy.
He was the guy
for a long, long, long time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Nobody knows me. I'm not out there.
Yeah.
I'm not on social media. I don't attend. I've never been to a seminar or real estate. So nobody knows who I am. So I walk up to this thing, and then they go, okay, well, I have a hard money lender willing to lend, but each of you guys have to propose to him what you're going to do. So I had 3 of us. I don't know who the other guy was. So when my turn came, I met him. His name is Gavin. I said, this is what I'm going to do. I showed him I told him my life. So I came out of prison. I'm going to do this. I'm going to change the West Side. I'm going to create low-income housing. I'm going to go buy it, and I'm going to rent it out, which he's never heard of before. Prior to me, it was always flipping. They flip. So eventually, I got a call. He says, hey, I'm going to give you the money. I was like, what? I was like shocked. Like, oh my God, my first hard money deal.
Yeah.
Right? He gave me like $240,000, and I had to go raise $20,000, which I did. I just went around, scrambled the money.
So that's like points in the first draw.
Yeah. So I ended up doing that deal. And anyway, after that, we do a couple more deals. So I want to say a couple of years go by. I'm probably up to about maybe 20-something properties at the time. And then he and I are having a relationship. And so we go to a bank. We're meeting at a Bank of Hawaii. You ever been to Bank of Hawaii? They have their own private fine dining restaurant on the top, right?
I've never been.
Oh, yeah. They take you. Yeah, you go up there. There's no menu. You order whatever you want, fine dining.
Yeah,
right? So if you make it to a certain level, they wine and dine you, right?
Oh, okay.
So we're up there with all these executives having lunch. And the story come out about that deal that I first did with him. I never told him this. Years go by already. But the story comes out about that deal. And what happens is I have that deal and another deal. And I only have one loan approved to refinance one of those.
Okay.
So I got to choose which one I'm going to refinance. I choose another deal, which I ended up moving. It's a nice house in Makilo that I moved in. And that first deal that he lent me on, that 260 house, I ended up selling it. I didn't end up keeping it. I rented it out like I said I would. Really quick, within like 2 months, I had it renovated, rented, but it was only a 1 year note. And within the 1 year, I sold it to my partner in the pizza restaurant.
Okay.
I said, hey, look, here's a property you can buy. Because he's seeing me doing all this stuff. He's like, I want to get in. All right, I'll sell you this property. It turned into a 4-unit. And so I listed it. It was in escrow for $625. Okay.
Wow.
By the time we were ready to close, the lender calls me. He goes, bro, your friend don't qualify. It's like, what? I said, yeah. It's like, what does he qualify for? He's like, 400. And I'm like, man, I got this note due that I owe Gavin.
How much is the note?
The note was for 260.
Okay.
And I go, you know what? Let's just change the contract.
You give it to him for 400?
I gave it to him for 400 to keep my word
Wow.
with Gavin. I don't tell him this. I don't feel like I should get kudos for it, right? Hey, it was like, hey, Gavin, here's the thank you, appreciate it. Well, years go by. As it's coming out in this meeting with the execs, we walking out the building, and he goes, hey, how come you didn't tell me that, he was having a hard time? I could have given you an extension. I was like, Gavin, I know you now, but that was the first deal we did. You didn't know me, right? I just wanted to make sure I keep my word.
Yeah.
Once he found that out, it was a game changer. Later on, he called me. He's like, hey, let's have lunch. So we had lunch, and he goes, hey, like, what are you going to do? I was like, I just want to change the West Side. I just want to make a difference. I want to make an impact, right? I get a little emotional every time I speak about it, so I kind of get emotional.
Yeah.
But he's like, well, what do you need? I was like, man, if I don't have to worry about money, because the problem is, I get a deal, I got to stop, I got to go raise the money, get the money, and then I got to manage all these people with the money, because you know how investors are, kid, where we're at with it. And it's like you kind of hold, after a while, when you own 20-something properties, it's a lot of work managing the people and all these investors.
Right.
So I was like, if I ain't got to worry about raising the money, if I ain't got to talk to a single investor, if I got to worry about taking their calls or whatever, handling all that paperwork, the transactions, I can just focus on doing deals. Man, that'll be a game changer for me.
Yeah.
He's like, okay. And so he was a financial advisor to rich people. So he would take all his rich people's money and invest it in real estate. Mm-hmm. So if you wanted to invest in real estate notes, he was the guy you saw.
Yeah.
So he closed his business and came work for me.
Wow.
And we partnered, basically. So he became a partner. So he became a partner in there. Now, what we did was, instead of him asking them for money instead of him investing their money in deals, he became the guy that went, hey, this is our deal. And so we worked with all of these investors, the same investors we worked with for years and years and years now.
Wow.
So all of a sudden I had access to millions of dollars, and we just were snatching up properties. Like quick, just boom, 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 boom. Buildings, I buy buildings for like $2 million, 100%.
Wow.
Hey, I want to buy this building. How much you need? $2.2 million. Okay. You got come to escrow with $2.2 million check.
And that's valuable, right? Because so in California, I lived next to this guy, and he bought this. I lived in this old Victorian that was turned into a house hack thing, and then there was one across, 3 one-bedrooms up top, 3 commercial spaces below. And the guy, this tall Afghani guy who lived down the street, he bought the building. He rolled up in his BMW. His wife has a matching BMW. I realize now, because of the weight of it, they were able to write it off, etc. But I run outside. This is after I just started listening to Bigger Pockets, and I sold my business. I'm going to grow this $25,000 to something, right? And I tried to catch him outside, and I was like, hey, how's it going? My name's Derek. And he's like, oh, hey. I was like, hey, can you teach me investing? He's like, what's your name, kid? Like, what is this about? And I was like, I just want to learn. He said, do you know what a cap rate is? I was like, no, I don't. He said, next time I see you, explain to me what a cap rate is. So I run right upstairs at that moment. Okay, net operating income over purchase price. And I memorize that, and I keep repeating it to myself. Okay, net operating income over cap rate. And then I start working his deal, and I go, he's probably getting $2,600. Fuck, he's probably like a 15% cap rate. And I reached, that's pretty good, 15%. Mm-hmm. And then I look out the window, out the blinds, always looking for it. I saw him the next time. It was like weeks later, and I run down, hey, how's it going? And he barely remembered he didn't remember me, right? I was like, no, I'm the guy who live upstairs. Like, oh, okay, yeah, you told me to look up cap rate. He goes, oh, yeah, so what is it? I explained it to him. And he goes, what do you think my cap rate is here? And I said, well, this, that, the other, probably 15%. And he's like, okay. What do you want to know? So he invited me to his house, talk. But I wasn't ready to receive everything he had, you know. But just getting around that mindset, I was like, man, he's just a human. He puts his pants on one leg at a time. And being around that over and over and over, I was like, oh, maybe I can. Maybe I can. So anyway, maybe we'll do this again. I know we've been here a long time, so I want to respect your time. But you fast forward, you buying up properties, doing choke deals. Now you said $20 million net worth. You know, own a whole portfolio. You got money. The point I was getting to, that guy, he said, they call me because they know I can close. If they want to close on December 30th, not January 1st, not December 25th, December 30th. They need all cash, 7-day close in California or 9-day close. He's like, I'm going to do it. No questions asked. Cap rate looks good. I'll walk it once. I close. So now the deals come to him. He said, I don't have to search for deals.
That's how it's been for me for the last.
I don't have to raise money.
Yeah.
Now the agents, everyone knows I can close the deal.
Yeah.
You need the deal closed, they come. So it just comes to me. So
that's how I got my first building, because it was like I bought so many properties from them. It's like, oh, Charles can close on a deal, and it needed to be cash because the building was empty.
And then maybe there, like we're in another deal in Kauai right now. It's 1031. Like who knows? Who knows? Are they divorcing? It's a doesn't matter to you. Maybe they got a deal where they're gonna do 10x on the mainland.
Yeah.
But you underwrite this deal, you like it, okay, can close.
Yeah.
10 days or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Amazing place to be. So you fast forward, you know, doing a bunch of deals, control a bunch of assets, rejuvenating the West Side. Maybe next time you come back, we get more into that. What are you working on now? And also what do you want to deliver to Hawaii? And so if all of Hawaii is going to hear this podcast, what's the message?
Well, that's a good question. I think, you know, when remember there was the part where I said I was laying on the side of my bed praying to God, you know, like crying, how this happened to me, and then depressed. For me at the time, up until that time, it was so painful that was the closest thing I thought coming to death would be like. I've had a heart attack, you know, in the last several years, so I do know what it's like to almost die. But up until that point, that was the nearest thing. It was so painful. I was like, man, this must be what it's like to die. And at that time, feeling in that lowest place of my life, thinking that I'm about to die, knowing that I'm contemplating suicide, I didn't think about the stuff. I didn't think about all the cars I had, or the partying, or the power, how I was known, or none of that mattered. And I felt this very sickening feeling inside. Like, man, if I die right now, I would have died with a wasted life. And at that moment, something inside of me knew that life isn't about what I get. Something happened. I go, man, I at that time, I thought I had what more than any, 25-year-old kid would have wanted. Anything way beyond that, but I wasn't happy about it. And so I realized, man, if life isn't about what I get, then it has to be about what I give. It has to be, right? It has to be about what difference, what impact am I going to make? And so that shift that happened for me, that I think that initial shift that just changed the trajectory of my life was going, how do I make the biggest impact in the world? And that became the driving thought for me constantly. How do I make the biggest impact? How do I make the biggest impact? And I do it so often that I do it on like an everyday basis, right? So if I'm walking by somebody and I see them, I'm going to smile. I'm going to say, hey, how you doing? And I'm just going to try to make a little bit, even if I just make you smile, if I just say hi, right? Even if you go, you reached out, I don't know you, right? We don't know each other. You reached out for me, you tell me what you have, you know what? I go, if I can make an impact constantly, every day, I'm constantly figuring out, if I'm ordering coffee from you and I'm going to talk, I've talked to somebody ordering coffee, all of a sudden find out she's going through a rough time, she's crying, and we giving her a hug, right? Just constantly make an impact. Over time, your impact becomes so big. I donated $100,000 to Waianae Elementary, my elementary school, for the library, right?
That's where you went.
Yeah.
I spoke there a few weeks ago. Yeah. Those kids are amazing, man.
And so we're renovating the library, and people see some of the big impacts. I sit on the board for Waianae Coast Comprehensive. We have 600 employees. I'm just starting on a new nonprofit called El Apayo, and we're working on building transitional housing for guys coming out of prison.
Okay.
So they have a place to reintegrate out in the West Side, right? And so people see this impact that I'm making. Now I'm making this very big impact in the community, and people look at me and go, man, Charles, I want to do that one day, man. I said, that's great, but you don't have to wait to make a big impact, right? You can make the impact every day, right? Yeah. When you order your food at CPK, the person comes and serves you, makes the next hour about making your life happy.
Yeah.
Do you get to know that person? Do you even try to get to know their name? Do you try to make them smile? Do you make them feel appreciative? Right? If you cannot connect to someone who's trying to make you happy for an hour and you treat them like an employee, you're not going out there and changing the world.
Yeah.
You're just not. It's not the habit. Remember I told you in prison, it was that little habits that I'm going to constantly do.
Tony Robbins says if you cannot give away $1 when you have 10, you're not going to give away $1 million when you have 10 million. So start small. Yeah.
And so it was that. And like I told you, I think it was like about 3 years ago, I had a heart attack. Or like straight up almost died. I really thought, okay, this is it. I had my heart attack. They rush. I go into emergency. I can't breathe. They put me on the table. It's like they're 8 kg doing this thing. It's like, oh, you're having a heart attack. We got to get you emergency surgery right now, right? And so I'm like, and I know it's bad. They're moving. They're panicking, right? And they're willing me to getting me ready. And I'm going, this is it. Like, this is it. I'm gonna die already, right? And I remember in that moment going, now my life flashes before me, right? And then I go, man, I made a difference. No, it was like I did the best I could to make the biggest impact I could. You know, I loved hard. I loved my family. I gave everything. I gave everything I could to the community, to this world. If I die right now, I'm good.
Wow. Bro, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time today. And I learned a lot during this. And your story preceded you for me personally. And I think it precedes you for many people. How powerful. I'm sorry you went through all the things you did, but I'm happy for the rest of us you did, because it's so impactful. It lands so firmly on me, at least. And I know that must be for many others. I'd love to have you back someday to talk about the housing initiative on the West Side for the transitioning prisoners or I don't know, humans who are coming to contribute back, you know. And just thank you. Thank you for, like you said, you didn't know me. And some people know me from YouTube or whatever. You didn't. The podcast Hawaii is still small. It was selfless coming here. And, wow, just one of my favorite couple of hours of my year right here is talking to you. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Whoo. Amazing.